All right, and folks, welcome back. We are joined once again on our show by Jonathan Tobin. He is columnist and senior online editor for Commentary Magazine. Hello, Jonathan. Welcome back.
Great. Great to have you. Great to be with you, Steve, and thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure. So we are in the middle. As a matter of fact, March Madness starts today. And you wrote a piece, a great piece on Commentary about March Madness, but a different kind of March Madness.
Yeah, we've along with the NCAA basketball tournament, we've got this rush on the part of the Obama administration to complete the enrollment for their signature health care plan, Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act. And their problem is they needed 7 million people to be enrolled in this program. And they're announcing that they've got 5 million, and they treated this as a big victory this week. But in fact, as we've learned, as even the New York Times reported earlier this month, those numbers are nowhere near accurate, because of those 5 million people who are supposedly enrolled or who have signed up on the website, hundreds of thousands of them, perhaps even more, have not paid their premiums. Now, as anybody who knows anything about an insurance policy, if you don't pay, you're not covered. You're out of luck.
Yeah, I mean, Jay Carney admitted this week. Kathleen Sebelius testified last week, admitting they have no idea, no way of knowing how many people pay their premiums. And Carney went on to say that insurance industry indicates it's somewhere in the area of 20% that probably haven't. So take that number, whatever it is, and knock it down by at least 20%.
Yeah, which means knock off 1 million out of 5 million. So they're way below the number they need. Now, this is significant, not just because it's just another sort of administration scam where they're trying to put something over on the American public, which they are. It's that these numbers are significant because unless they get their 7 million people or something close to it, the scheme doesn't work. I mean, Obamacare is a massive, as I know you've discussed, as I've written about before, Obamacare is a massive generational wealth transfer from younger, healthier people to older, sicker people. And unless you get lots of people, millions of people who are basically not going to use this insurance, who are paying for it, the scheme doesn't work, because the people who are who genuinely are benefiting from Obamacare, which is basically people with the pre-existing conditions, older, sicker people who weren't able to get insurance, it's not a risk. It's not a reasonable risk for insurance companies. That's why they didn't get insurance. So in order to balance this out, they have to get people who won't use it. And without those people, without these young, quote unquote, invincibles, whom
wait, you mean the knuckleheads?
The knuckleheads,
yes.
That's right, who are trying to be convinced to buy this insurance, which is way more expensive than what they could get otherwise. Unless they do this, the scheme doesn't work. And that means there's going to be another massive raid on the federal treasury, because the government has committed to bailing out the insurance companies who are going to be stuck.
All right, well, let me
for all this stuff.
Let me ask you this. If it doesn't work, and it's not going to work, I mean, they're not going to get their numbers, and that's what I'm talking about when I say it's not going to work. They're not going to get their numbers, not by a long shot. Young people are not signing up, so even if they got 7 million, they still needed X percentage of that to be young, and they're not getting that. So okay, they're going to have to bail out the insurance companies, but is the alternative cry then going to be single payer, single payer? Does that solve it?
Well, it doesn't solve it for the taxpayers who are not going. Let's remember something. Obamacare was only passed because it wasn't single payer. I mean, liberals, the hardcore left always wanted a single payer system. It's basically, moving towards socialized medicine in this country. The American people weren't anywhere near ready for that. Indeed, you can argue they weren't ready for or didn't want what they've been saddled with now. So I think this, there's some on the right who say it's all a big conspiracy to try and force the American people to accept single payer. I think the whole thing collapses.
All right.
I don't think we're going farther. I think we're going back.
Well, from your lips to God's ears, let's put it that way, because the horror stories that are out there are just that. They're horror stories,
and they're going to get worse.
Absolutely, as more and more people are forced into that You know, again, Obama has delayed the pain for political purposes through the 2016 election.
Yeah, and the deal is, it's what's interesting is that we're getting reports in the last week or two that even before the election this year, you know, he backloaded all of the pain, thought to front load all the good things from this plan. Is that for the people who do sign up and for the people who do pay for their Obamacare, their premiums are going to go up. They're going to skyrocket later this year because of this shortfall in enrollment. And the pain is not going to wait until after the midterms. It's going to start sooner.
It is crazy. All right, let's move on to another piece you wrote. Lying about a boss won't bring peace. I want to play for everyone the horrific, despicable soundbite and video of a boss who was probably reportedly involved in the Munich massacre, who puts wreaths at the graves of mass murderers of Jews and names soccer stadiums after them, and teaches their children in Palestinian schools to kill the Jew and take Jerusalem with their blood. This is how our president described him in front of him.
And I have to commend President Abbas. He has been somebody who has consistently renounced violence, has consistently sought a diplomatic and peaceful solution that allows for two states side by side in peace and security.
All right, what Obama might just as well have said at that very moment was, by the way, if you like your health care plan and if you like your doctor, you could keep it, because everything he said about Abbas was a bald-faced lie.
Yeah, it's just not true. And what's interesting about this, you know, there are two things that are interesting, because the contrast here was the president's reception of Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu, which was to say that it was cool a couple of weeks ago when he came in for his visit is an understatement. I mean, indeed, the president denounced Netanyahu in Israel and saying that they were the problem with peace, and just being falsifying. And you know, the deal with the current negotiations is that despite their misgivings, the Israelis have gone along with Kerry's framework. They're prepared to keep negotiating. They put on a table, or, you know, the information is very clear, reports that the Israelis have put on the table a fourth offer of statehood to the Palestinians. And Abbas wants no part of it. And he wants no part of it, you know, for two reasons. Number one, he's never been in favor of peace, despite what he says sometimes to Westerners and Israelis. You know, he's part of the Palestinian culture of delegitimization of Israel, and he just can't buy it.
All right, I agree, and I'm not to interrupt you. We only have like a minute and a half left, so let me ask you this. So then why, again, and this question could be asked with any Obama policy that's failing, and foreign policy, domestic policy, I think I know the answer, but let me ask you, so then why does Obama sit there and lie through his teeth?
Well, he's lying through his teeth in much the same manner that Bill Clinton lied about Yasser Arafat, Mahmoud Abbas's boss and predecessor, and the way some Israelis have lied about Arafat, and the way some Israelis are covering up Israeli President Shimon Peres, because they're so bought into this concept that peace with the Palestinians requires them to whitewash real, actual Palestinian behavior, what Abbas actually says and believes, and the fact that he keeps turning down peace offers. They are so entranced by the notion that peace can only be possible by whitewashing the Palestinians that they continue to say these lies.
And of course,
but the point is, we've seen this movie before. We know how it ends, and it doesn't end well.
Well, you know, Kerry has promised the Israelis it ends in an intifada, diplomatic isolation from the world. And of course, he told the Israelis the other day, stop demanding this Jewish state recognition. So, you know, he might as well be the new Palestinian spokesperson.
Yeah, well, the irony is that President Obama and the White House seems to think that Kerry has been too nice to the Israelis. That's what we've been getting out of Washington.
Maybe they should pull a line from,
you know,
maybe they should. We got to go, Jonathan. Maybe they should threaten them with annihilation, and maybe Obama would be happy. Hey, listen, great talking to you, sir. Great, and welcome back, and we'll speak to you soon.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. That's Jonathan Tobin, columnist and senior online editor for Commentary Magazine. When we come back, Gimme 5, Steve Malzberg Show on Newsmax Television.
Introducing the driver that breaks.